When Kristen Goley and her 4-month-old baby girl suddenly vanished without a trace, people totally freaked out. For her friends and family, it was like living through a nightmare. But once the police got involved, they realised real quick this was just the beginning. What at first looked like a simple missing person case soon turned into something way darker. Security camera footage started showing up, the evidence started piling up, and then came the horrifying discovery. Kristen's body was found hidden right in plain sight. But her little girl, Vanessa, there was still no sign of her anywhere. At the centre of it all was a man who not only became the prime suspect, but might actually go down in history as one of the most careless, confusing, and honestly, straight up dumb criminals we've ever talked about on this channel. This case has it all: police body cam footage, lies being exposed in real time, and evidence so wild you almost can't believe it's real. So, who killed Kristen Goley? Why did he do it? And what on earth happened to her daughter?
You know where Christine is?
You know what Christine is?
Yes.
Oh, you better find her.
Yes.
Well, you want to hold the baby.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Jackson channel. Before we dive in, I just want to ask, drop a comment down below and tell me where you're watching from and what the weather's like over there. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. All right, let's get into it. So, around 1 p.m. on Monday, December 2nd, 2019, officers showed up at the Goley residence in Ansonia, Connecticut. They were responding to a welfare check because Kristen Goley hadn't been heard from in quite a while. As the hours turned into days, the silence started to worry everyone who knew her. And as you can see from the police body cam footage, it was freezing outside. Snow had just started to settle, covering the ground and rooftops in this soft white layer. One thing that immediately caught the officers' attention: there were no footprints leading up to the front door. They knocked on the door, then on the windows, but nothing. No answer, no movement inside. And then, weirdly enough, they noticed that a back window was slightly open. That's a pretty bad sign, especially considering Kristen lived there with her 1-year-old daughter Vanessa. An open window in that kind of cold? Yeah, something was definitely off. Fearing the worst, the officers had no choice but to break in. They busted the door frame and went inside. It wasn't a decision they took lightly, but sometimes you've just got to act fast when something feels wrong. Once inside, the place was eerily quiet. The air felt heavy, tense. The kitchen looked spotless, almost too spotless for a young mum and her baby. Nearby, they saw the crib empty, which meant Vanessa wasn't there. The master bedroom was cold too, the closet door halfway open. It looked like no one had been home for a while. But then one of the officers walked toward the bathroom and suddenly screamed. There was a candle sitting by the door, flickering like it had been burning for hours. And what those officers found next, even the most seasoned detectives couldn't have been prepared for it.
Oh shit. What? Oh fuck, dude. What? Holy shit. Can't believe you here. Holy fuck.
Okay.
Find it. Back out. No, clear the room. Clear the house. D2, I'm gonna need you here.
In the bathroom, they found the body of Kristen Goley. She had been beaten so brutally that, oh my god, parts of her brain were literally next to her body. Her hands were covered in dried blood. The whole scene was beyond horrific. It was clear she had been attacked with unbelievable violence. But the most terrifying part, Vanessa was still missing. Word spread across town, fast fear, panic, and heartbreak swept through the community. A mother had been found murdered inside her own home, and her baby girl had vanished without a trace. Everyone was shaken. Neighbours, friends, even complete strangers came together, desperate to help, not just to find Vanessa, but to somehow make sense of this nightmare. At first though, all anyone could really do was grieve. Candlelight vigils were held, posters with baby Vanessa's face went up on telephone poles and in store windows. The police were working around the clock, and volunteers searched the nearby woods and lakes, hoping for any sign of the 4-month-old girl. But nothing, she was just gone. Later, investigators confirmed what everyone had already feared: the woman found dead in that house, where Vanessa was supposed to be, was indeed her mother, Kristen Goley.
We've also learned that the woman found dead in the home Vanessa should have been with was her mother.
Yeah, Fox 61's Gabby Molina joins us now live from Ansonia with the latest. And I guess you've got a family member with you, Gabby.
Tim, Margot, yes, right now what's happening right now in Ansonia is family members and friends and members of the community are handing out these flyers with Vanessa's picture on them, 4 pictures of Vanessa all trying to find her, trying to spread the word here. We have not seen these pictures yet, so take a good look. There are some really, really clear photos of her face. She has brown hair and brown eyes, and that's right, family members have met here in Ansonia to spread the word about this, and I'm joined right now by Vanessa's cousin, Joshua. Joshua, tell us a little bit about what has been going through the family's mind these past few days.
It's very hard on my grandparents, and I could only imagine the other side of the family. We just want her home at any means necessary. We just want her home safe, healthy. I mean, Christmas is coming. Like, you know, she got to have her second Christmas, you know what I mean? And it's cold out here. And it's so much things going on in the world, and we would never think it would happen to your own.
Thank you so much, Joshua. And he is joined here by a couple of family members as well. I want to give you a look. They are standing at the edge of the street. Any car that stops by, they're walking over and handing flyers. They brought their own flyers. If we take a look over here, people are handing out flyers to just any car that comes by, hoping to spread the word to bring Vanessa home safely.
Despite everyone's best efforts, there was still no sign of little Vanessa. But then finally, police got a break. Not in Vanessa's disappearance, but in her mother's murder. On a street corner, not far from Kristen's house, a surveillance camera caught sight of a car driving through the area around the time the murder likely happened. It wasn't super clear who was behind the wheel, but it was enough to raise suspicions. It definitely didn't look like just some random car passing by. It took investigators a bit of time to dig deeper, but over the next few days, they uncovered something huge, a real source of evidence. We'll get into that footage in more detail a little later, but for now, it's important to know this was the first real lead in the entire case. Even more unsettling, Kristen's boyfriend, who, as it turned out, was also baby Vanessa's father, was alive, well, and living at his parents' house just a few blocks away. So yeah, you can imagine he instantly became the prime suspect. And honestly, maybe not without reason, so let's take a closer look at the complicated relationship between Kristen and Jose. Before the tragedy, Kristen Goley lived a full, loving life. At 43, she was a beloved daughter, sister, and friend, someone everyone adored. But above all else, she was a devoted mum to her only child, Vanessa Morales. Anyone who knew her could tell those two were inseparable. For Kristen, being a mum wasn't just a duty, it was her whole world. Vanessa was her world. Kristen grew up nearby in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and as the oldest of 5 kids, she learned early on how to be caring and responsible. Her heart was just as big as her smile, and she was always the one looking after her younger brothers and sisters. It's no surprise she went on to earn a bachelor's degree in psychology. She genuinely cared about people, and she wasn't chasing money or status or anything like that. Kristen built a career around what she loved most, working with kids. She was a preschool teacher and had a special place in her heart for caring for babies, whether at work, at home, or in her community. Kristen was that person everyone could count on. She was an active member of Street Andrew's Church in Bridgeport, involved in the Columban Society, and a constant source of support for her family. Her days were filled with little joys, helping her nephew with homework, doing puzzles with her niece, and spending time with her brothers, her parents, and her big extended family. She was just that kind of person, warm, giving, and full of life. You could definitely say Kristen was a total homebody. She loved the warmth and comfort of her own space, being surrounded by family, you know. But now, let's talk about the man who, unfortunately, ended up playing a major role in her story. It was through her local community that Kristen first met a guy named Jose Morales. Over time, the two grew closer and eventually started dating. A few months later, Kristen found out she was pregnant with his child. At first, things between them seemed okay. They weren't married, but they were co-parenting baby Vanessa together. Friends said Kristen was absolutely over the moon about becoming a mum. And even though their relationship had its ups and downs, like most couples, Kristen was fully committed to giving her daughter a safe, loving home. Now, let's shift the focus to Jose before his life got tangled up with Kristen's. From what we know, he kept a pretty low profile. After moving from Puerto Rico to the US in 1989, he grew up in New Haven, Connecticut. He was born on November 12th, 1976, and honestly, his early years seemed pretty ordinary, nothing remarkable in terms of school or career. But unlike Kristen, Jose had a rougher edge to him. He lived a quiet but troubled life, and to put it bluntly, he just wasn't a great match for someone like her. And I'll be real with you, maybe he didn't even deserve her. As an adult, Jose had several run-ins with the law minor stuff, but still concerning. Things like assault and disorderly conduct. Clearly, he had a bad temper and serious issues with self-control, not exactly the kind of traits you'd want in a boyfriend or a dad. People who knew him said Jose could be charming, sure, but also unpredictable, especially when he was under pressure. He worked in utilities, but his career was unstable. He never seemed to really settle down or build strong roots in the community. Then he met Kristen, a woman whose entire life revolved around patience, kindness, and stability. It's not hard to imagine what drew him to her. And maybe Kristen, being the caring person she was, saw someone she could help, someone she could fix. Their relationship eventually brought baby Vanessa into the world. But as time went on, things between them started to fall apart. Arguments became more frequent, and there were whispers about Jose being jealous and controlling. Still, Kristen tried to keep the peace. That's just who she was. She wanted stability for her family, but Jose had a long-standing problem with drugs, and that only made everything worse. As a boyfriend and as a father, he was struggling badly. Kristen put up with way more than most people ever could. It was obvious she loved him maybe a little too much. Her friends could see it all over her, in her face, in the way she talked about him, in how she always tried to see the good that just wasn't really there. She was waiting for that version of Jose that honestly might never have existed. Another thing about Kristen, she was loyal, like to a fault. The messages she sent Jose painted a clear picture of a woman who loved deeply, kept hoping, and always forgave. But behind all that hope, there was exhaustion. Over time, those little cracks in their relationship just kept getting bigger, and everyone around her could see it happening. Her friends and family were genuinely worried for her safety. Then, on December 1st, 2019, Kristen completely vanished. She stopped answering calls and messages, just gone, like she disappeared into thin air. Meanwhile, police began what's usually one of the hardest parts of any investigation, questioning the partner. Jose was the first person they talked to and the last person to see Kristen alive. And honestly, things weren't looking good for him. From the moment Jose walked into that interrogation room, his energy was just off. He slouched in his chair, arms crossed tight over his chest, barely making eye contact with the detectives. He didn't look like a heartbroken man worried about his girlfriend. He looked defensive, closed off. At times he even seemed bored, and then suddenly irritated, like he was the one being wronged. The whole vibe was just weird.
Even though the door is kind of closed, I mean, you're free to leave. We brought you here to talk to you. I understand you're...
I'm free to leave. Where am I going to walk all the way home?
No, we'll give you a ride. I'm just saying you're not held captive here. I'm not like... You're
so
not
why what I came here for?
To talk to you.
About what?
We're trying to find Christina and your kid.
All right, that's exactly what I've been trying to call her too.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So
we're in the same page.
Okay, good. I'd rather have it that way. When's the last time you talked to her?
I talked to her, I think it was Monday morning when she was going to work.
So that was yesterday morning, Monday. Yeah. About what time?
Early in the morning.
Okay. So that was talking on the phone or in person?
On the phone.
On the phone.
Jose claimed he had last spoken to Kristen just a day earlier. According to him, she seemed to be in a hurry and didn't want to talk for long, so their conversation lasted barely a minute. He also said the last time he saw Vanessa was on Thanksgiving, when they supposedly spent the night at his parents' house.
Did you stay over there this weekend?
No.
You didn't stay over there this weekend?
No.
Do you normally stay over there during the weekend?
Sometimes I do, yeah. Not normally, but sometimes I stay over.
All right. So when's the last time you saw her in person?
Friday.
Throughout the investigation, Jose desperately tried to insist that he and Kristen weren't really that close, and instead of talking about how much she meant to him, he seemed to be doing everything he could to distance himself from her.
We are boyfriend, girlfriend.
You guys are?
Yeah, but we're not that close either. Because she got her own place, she do her own life, she got her own apartment. When she got this apartment over here, she asked me if I can help her out.
Christine, your only girlfriend? Or you have other girlfriends? Does she have other boyfriends?
We're not that close.
Right.
It's like, we have a baby.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like she my girlfriend. We say that, we use that word very lightly.
Yeah.
But we have a baby together. That it happened, so I guess I'm assuming a little bit of responsibility by helping her out a little bit.
So where did you stay over the weekend?
I stayed with my friend Hector.
Hector.
He lives in East Haven.
East Haven. What's Hector's last name?
I don't know.
The last name. You know where he lives in East Haven? Does he know you're Christine? Or he has no
he doesn't
idea?
know Christine.
So he has no idea who Christine is?
No. He know I got a girlfriend, that's it.
I mean, do you have any idea where she could be?
No.
Zero.
So,
No idea where a 1-year-old would be.
Vanessa?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, Christine is an adult, so I mean, I'm more concerned
Well,
about it.
Christine is with Vanessa. I figured.
Okay. I'm saying an adult's an adult. They can come and go and do whatever they want. A
Yeah.
1-year-old's at the mercy of whoever's with them.
Yeah.
When detectives asked him where he had been over the weekend when Kristen was killed, his answers were vague and uncertain.
So were you at the house at all this weekend? Her house, Christine's?
Not the weekend.
You didn't go there to pick anything up, drop anything off?
On
Honestly, he paused a lot. Sometimes the pauses were so long, you could literally fit a whole sentence between the officer's question and his answer.
not sure.
When the officers asked him to confirm that he'd spoken to Kristen the day before and showed him the call log, Jose agreed to hand over his phone. But as it turned out, there wasn't a single call on there.
Can I look at like the missed calls and stuff like that on this?
There are none.
There are no missed
No,
calls.
there's nothing.
I don't know, that phone is bugged out. That phone dies out. Is you can is it a smartphone?
Jose, when did you go to Hector's house?
Friday.
When Friday?
Friday night.
And when did you come home?
Monday.
What time, roughly?
To my mom's house?
Yeah.
To where I live at?
Yeah.
During the day. Not sure.
End of day?
During the day, not sure what
During
time.
the day.
Yeah.
Your dad said you went to Christine's Friday with her. Why would he tell me that?
He said that I went to Christine.
Yes.
Friday, that's what he thought I was.
Why would you? You said you told him where you went, and if you told him you went to Hector's,
She
he
got
wouldn't
her
tell
own.
me.
She got her own car.
Right, but why would he tell me that you went to Christine's if you told him where you went?
Why would he tell? He probably assumed.
Vanessa's missing, and it's my 1-year-old daughter.
I'm worried. That's why I keep trying to call my kids. We
Jose,
keep
the
trying-
whole right here, you talked about everything but her. The whole right here, you didn't talk about a 1-year-old daughter that's missing. I don't get that.
That's my daughter.
Yeah, that's, we want to find her.
All right.
And the only reason you're here
Is to find her.
is to help us find her.
All right, so let's find
So
her.
where is she?
I don't know. She's
You have
with
no
Christine.
I feel like you don't want to give us any information. Your father's given us more information that you're willing. And
She's
you,
with Christine. All I
you would know every single piece of information that your father would know.
She's with Christine. That's all I know.
Christine's a big girl. I'm not worried about Christine. I'm worried about a 1-year-old that has no control over her life. Zero. That's who I want to find.
All right.
Not 40-year-old Christine or however old she is. I'm here to find your daughter.
Okay, let's find
And like I
her.
said, I find it absolutely bizarre that the whole right here.
So what do you think? That I have my daughter hidden somewhere?
I don't know. I'm asking you for help to find her. I don't know. You have no idea where she could be, nor did you even really talk about it on the whole ride.
So let's talk about her then.
Do you have your daughter?
This was getting insanely uncomfortable for Jose. But the most striking thing, he showed no emotion, no anger, no sadness, no surprise, just complete, total indifference. Over time, that lack of emotion started to speak louder than words in the room. Sometimes it's not what people say or confess that matters, it's what they can't fake. And Jose Morales couldn't fake anything. So, the story of Kristen's murder was slowly becoming clearer to the police, and at the same time, unbearably painful. But even then, it was the kind of story nobody wanted to believe. And, you know, I show a lot of interrogation footage, but this is one of those rare cases where the officers just couldn't hold back. And Jose, he literally started falling apart right before their eyes.
I'm going with the conversation that I'm having
Right,
at the
and half
moment.
the stuff doesn't
so
add
what,
up. Your
what you
father
want me to cry for my daughter, cry for Christine, cry?
No, you can cry, you can laugh, you can do whatever the hell you want to do.
She's Christine and her. They not that close. I'm not that close to them.
Yeah, you said you weren't close to Christine. You didn't care about her, but your daughter was extremely important. You said that.
Well, I guess, yeah, but my life is the kids that you met at my house. That's where I live at.
Let's talk about them.
All right, let's talk about them.
You want to be there for them?
Yeah. So I'm going home.
Okay.
Okay. Just
how long do you think that?
Keep me updated.
What happens if we never find Vanessa?
You will. What you mean? What happened if you never find Vanessa?
Because I don't know where they are. Jose, if I knew where they are, you wouldn't be sitting here right now. We wouldn't even be having a conversation. We wouldn't have bothered.
Because Steven is not here and everybody else is not here.
Because they already were here. We already had this conversation.
All right. This is crazy.
So you understood what I told you, right?
What?
That somebody saw you leaving the house today? Monday? Yes? You understand that?
They asked him to turn over his clothes to the detectives and gave him a white jumpsuit to wear on his way home. And just like that, Jose was released back into the community.
I can put the sneakers on? You really gonna have me go home like this? Mm-hmm. You the boss?
Mm-hmm. And of course, just a day later, officers found Kristen's body in the bathtub. From that moment, the case completely shifted. This was no longer just a missing person situation. It had officially become a homicide investigation. Suddenly, all eyes turned to Jose. Not only was his girlfriend now officially confirmed dead, but his daughter was missing too, without her mother. It's not surprising, but that's exactly what made the case so urgent. This wasn't just a tragedy that ended, a child was actually gone. As the weight of the evidence started to mount, another development pushed the case even further. On December 4th, 2019, 2 volunteers were cleaning donation bins for used clothing near Street, Michael's church. It was supposed to be a routine job, just sorting through bags of old clothes and loading them into a truck, but what they found that morning was anything but ordinary. When they opened one of the bins and started pulling out items, something unusual caught their attention. Among the donations was what looked like a diaper, just a regular baby item, nothing suspicious at first. But then they noticed it was covered in blood. At first, the volunteers weren't quite sure what they were seeing. As they dug further, they realised it wasn't just 1 or 2 items, several bags were stained with blood. They loaded all the items into a van and brought them to a storage facility. It wasn't until the next day that they took a closer look at what they'd found, and that's when they stumbled on something truly chilling. In one of the bags was a woman's dress, and next to it, a note addressed to Kristen Goley. The name was already familiar, and a quick Google search would give them everything they needed. News reports were already exploding with information about Kristen. The woman recently found murdered in her own home. They immediately called the police. The police already had suspicions about Jose, especially after his pathetic performance in the interrogation room. But then another piece of the puzzle emerged, new surveillance footage. Of course, piecing together the timeline didn't happen instantly, but once Kristen was found dead in the bathtub, officers began asking neighbours about any Nest camera footage. After several days of collecting clips, the pieces of the puzzle slowly started coming together frame by frame, and what the footage eventually revealed left no one ready for what they saw. First, forensic experts determined that Kristen was killed sometime late on November 30th or early on December 1st. This meant the next clips captured footage after her murder had already taken place. At exactly 6 a.m. on the day Kristen was killed, her car was spotted on Myrtle Avenue, the same street where she, Jose, and Vanessa lived. Just 5 minutes later, it was seen moving south on Elm Street, leaving the house and the scene of the crime. A few minutes after that, the same car appeared on Darby Avenue, heading towards Street Michael's church. And if that name sounds familiar, it should. That's exactly where the diaper and the blood-soaked items were found in the donation bin. So at this point, we've got the car, the crime scene, and the dumped evidence all tied to this driver. But the big question, who was behind the wheel? 6 minutes later, the same car heads back the other way, retracing its route. The footage gave a good timeline, but the resolution was too low to identify the driver. That is, until the next camera became a real game changer. At 6:18 a.m, and don't let the timestamp confuse you, the shell gas station camera on Main Street caught Kristen's car pulling up, parked right by the entrance. And get this, the driver totally ignored the huge no parking sign, and guess who gets out of the car? Yep, Jose Morales. Inside, he tries to buy a pack of cigarettes, but unlucky for him, he can't find the right change, so he leaves. Another camera inside captures his face crystal clear, no mistaking it. By this time, the sun had started coming up. Jose spends the next hour and a half driving back and forth, almost aimlessly, before finally returning via Cottage Street at 6:25 a.m. Then he stays at the house, the crime scene, until 8 a.m, steps out briefly, comes back at 8:25, and again at 1 p.m. The next morning, Kristen's car spotted several times leaving and returning 4:30, 6, 7:30 and 9:30 a.m. Safe to say, the folks in Ansonia aren't shy about using Nest cameras, because clearly there are enough to track Jose's every move. And just a few hours after all this back and forth, the police finally show up at the house. With all this new info, it was clear what needed to happen next. The police were very eager to talk to Jose again. Luckily, he was easy to find. He'd gone back to his parents' house, trying to stay under the radar while the police were discovering his girlfriend's body. When the officers came for the second time, he, let's just say, didn't look very surprised. Jose insisted he would never hurt Kristen, let alone Vanessa. And despite his slow reactions, he even claimed he had no idea Kristen was dead. At first, he said he hadn't even been in the house that weekend. But the detectives knew that was a lie. And once Jose realized they weren't buying it, he tried scrambling to change his story. As for his parents' reactions, no words needed. You can see it for yourself.
We know where Christine is.
You know what Christine is?
Yes.
Oh, you guys found her?
Yes.
Well, you want to hold the baby?
Christine's dead.
No, ¿cómo va a ser? What happened to her? What happened to her? ¿Cómo va a ser?
This was the moment the officers had to break the news to the Morales family about Kristen's death. You can see just how devastated Jose's parents are, while he barely shows any emotion. The police tried to explain the situation and outline what was going on, that this was now officially a homicide investigation.
We're looking for your son to shine the light on our situation that we're working with right now. We're investigating, so I'll let you know this, it's a homicide.
The officers and Jose's parents were stunned not just by the news itself, but by Jose's reaction. Investigators had already seen him coming and going from Kristen's house multiple times, yet, in that room, he acted like he either couldn't or didn't want to face the truth.
Where you found her? Where you found her?
She's at her apartment.
In her apartment? Oh my God! Oh my God!
We can't find the car that he says she's always driving. But we know where the car is that you say that she's driving.
They know what?
Yeah. What's up?
When I asked you about her buying a new car, you said you knew nothing about
No,
it.
I know about it.
Well, why did you say you didn't know anything
I
about it?
know about it. What? She bought a car. She bought a car.
Jose, where you was today?
Jose, we also just took your car.
The car is gone?
Yep.
I don't know. What you want me to come up with an idea, make something up?
What happened to
What you want me
Christine?
to think?
What happened
What
to
you want me to
Christine?
say? To just invent a situation?
Cornered by the facts, he suddenly changed his story. But even then, something felt off. His words didn't carry the weight of someone truly shocked or grieving. Instead, he came across as extremely defensive about the whole thing. Clearly, something had gone down.
Obviously, something did happen.
Were they in a serious relationship?
Huh?
Were they in a serious relationship?
Yeah.
Well, he said it was.
Oh, it wasn't a serious relationship.
They were dating. So he's gonna say you were.
I was at his house.
On Monday.
I was with him.
On Monday.
The weekend.
No, Monday.
But you just said you were with Hector on Monday. You said I don't remember when I was with you on Monday.
I was with Hector
Hector.
the weekend.
What about Monday? They asking about Monday.
To make things even worse for him, the detectives were able to immediately debunk his new version of events right there on the spot.
But why? You leave. Well, I'm here, and you are putting up a lot of walls.
It's not that I got a lot of walls.
Yeah, but
maybe
I mean,
my brain
right, so,
is messed up. Maybe I'm not a clear-minded person.
Okay. I I can understand that. You have a lot of stress in your life?
Yeah, I had no job.
So it wasn't exactly shocking when Jose was officially arrested for Kristen's murder. The evidence had been piling up day by day, and his story simply couldn't hold up under scrutiny. There were just too many facts for the investigators to lean on. Surveillance footage, phone records, and his constantly changing statements. All of it painted a picture that was impossible to ignore. But the real clincher was how he reacted to the mounting evidence. His arrest rocked both families. Kristen's parents were absolutely devastated the man she'd welcomed into her home was now being charged with her murder. And Jose's parents, well, that was a whole different kind of grief. It was like watching the son they'd loved and raised for so long turn into a monster. Unfortunately, Jose's trial didn't start until 5 long years later, meaning this case, which began in 2019, was only unfolding in court now. By the time it did, Jose already had a completely new version of events. While he admitted being on the property when Kristen was killed, he insisted things hadn't happened the way they looked. According to Jose, on the night of the murder, he went outside to smoke PCP, which left him in a fog, confused and disoriented. He then returned to the apartment, went into the bathroom and sat on the toilet. Supposedly, while in this drugged haze, he saw 2 masked individuals approaching the house. But because of his foggy state and, let's be honest, his pants were down, he couldn't react in time, Jose claimed he reached for Kristen's phones and dialed 911. But before he could say anything, one of the attackers allegedly struck him in the face and chest, knocking him to the floor and paralysing him. From the floor, he supposedly heard Kristen screaming. One of the men allegedly attacked her while the other grabbed Vanessa. Jose then claimed he watched as his girlfriend was beaten with a crowbar. He said the attackers fled, leaving him alone with Kristen's body. And as for little Vanessa, she was allegedly kidnapped. That was Jose's new version of events. The problem? His testimony completely contradicted what he had first told investigators. Initially, he claimed he hadn't even seen Kristen that day. More than that, he said he hadn't been at the apartment at all, and certainly hadn't called 911 to report 2 masked people. And now, all of a sudden, he became part of the events at the crime scene during a violent break-in, trying to paint himself as a helpless witness instead of a suspect. For the prosecution, this sudden shift wasn't just suspicious, it was totally incriminating.
Mr. Morales, did you kill Christine Holloway?
No.
Mr. Morales, were you so intoxicated on a substance, PCP, or alcohol, or any other substance that you do not remember killing Christine Holloway?
I did not kill Christine Holloway.
I just want to be sure, right? We heard the 911 tape. Is there any possibility that this is a delusion that you are engaged in?
No.
Okay. And you're 100% sure of that?
I'm 100% sure that people came into the apartment.
People
yes.
came into your house and they killed.
Well, one of them did, yes.
Okay.
It's also worth noting that the jury needed more breaks than usual, mostly due to Jose's sheer awkwardness. His inconsistent testimony, constant stumbling, and contradictory statements clearly showed that he either hadn't prepared at all or wasn't telling the truth. In court, it didn't look good. Adding to that was a witness, Jose's landlord, who ran a small workshop in the garage beneath the apartment. He testified that on the day of Kristen's murder, he heard loud banging from the apartment above, which seemed unusual since he almost never heard anything. Then came the forensic evidence that left no room for doubt. Kristen's DNA was found on Jose's shoes, in his car, and on several trash bags in the trunk. His hair was also found on Kristen's hands, and phone records confirmed he was at the crime scene at the time of her murder. The physical evidence alone told the story. And when a forensic anthropologist reconstructed fragments of Kristen's skull, it was clear there were signs of blunt force trauma, likely from a crowbar. The jury deliberated for only 2.5 hours. When they returned, the courtroom was heavy with silence. Despite Jose's bizarre story, the years that had passed, and all the legal wrangling, the evidence was undeniable. It was no surprise that Jose Morales was found guilty of murdering Kristen Holloway. He was also convicted of tampering with evidence.
In docket number AAN CR20-018-6660T, in the first count of the amended information charging the defendant Jose Morales with the crime of murder in violation of section 53A-54A of the Connecticut General Statutes, how do you find the defendant as to the crime of murder?
Guilty.
In docket number AAN CR20-018-6660T, in the second count of the amended information charging the defendant Jose Morales with the crime of tampering with physical evidence in violation of section 53A-155 of the Connecticut General Statutes, how do you find the defendant as to the crime of tampering with physical evidence? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
But even after the verdict and all these years, one question remains. Where is Vanessa? The murder of Kristen was horrific enough, but the disappearance of her daughter makes the tragedy even more heartbreaking. The fact that her 1-year-old daughter has been missing ever since makes this story even scarier. Despite national news coverage, Amber Alerts, and countless search efforts, Vanessa has still not been found, not a single lead. And tragically, over time, it has become increasingly clear not only did Jose Morales kill his partner, but it seems he may have gotten away with taking his daughter as well. As for Vanessa's mother, Kristen Holloway was a devoted mum, a loving daughter, and a woman who repeatedly tried to see the best in someone who clearly didn't deserve it. Her life was taken far too soon, and her daughter remains missing, lost to the unknown. And while Jose Morales now sits behind bars, the story doesn't end there, not for Kristen's family, not for the investigators who continue the search, and certainly not for Vanessa. Until she is found, until the final chapter of this story is written, this case remains a haunting reminder that justice does not always mean closure. We can only hope that one day she will be found safe and alive. Honestly, Jose is probably one of the dumbest killers I've ever covered on this channel. Technically, he might have managed to hide his daughter's body, but everything else screams complete stupidity. From the mountain of evidence he left behind to his total lack of emotion in changing his story in the middle of the trial, he essentially handed the prosecution everything they needed. That brings us to the end of the video, and before signing off, I want to sincerely thank you for watching and making it all the way to the end. I truly appreciate your attention. In the meantime, take care of one another, stay safe, and of course, stay curious. Thank you, and goodbye.